I was happy for my mom, but I couldn't help feeling left out. That's when the lies started. My stepdad began telling my mom all these stories about things I supposedly did wrong. He'd say I was staying out late when I wasn't, or that I was being disrespectful to him, which wasn't true. I tried to defend myself, but it was always his word against mine. My mom seemed confused and didn't know who to believe. Last week, my stepdad announced that he wanted to remodel the house to make a nursery for the baby. He started talking about knocking down walls and rearranging rooms. I didn't think much of it at first, but then things took a turn I never expected. 2 days ago, my mom sat me down for a talk. She looked uncomfortable and wouldn't meet my eyes. She said, "Honey, you're 19 now, and you're becoming a man. We think it might be time for you to get your own place." I was shocked. I stammered something like, "What? Why? Did I do something wrong?" She rushed to reassure me, No, it's not that. It's just, well, with a baby coming, we need the space, and you're old enough now to be on your own. It'll be good for you to learn some independence." I could tell by the way she was talking that this wasn't her idea. My stepdad was standing in the doorway, arms crossed with this smug look on his face. That's when I knew he had put her up to this. I tried to argue, to explain that I wasn't ready to move out. I'm still in community college, and I work part-time at a local grocery store. There's no way I can afford my own place right now. But my mom just kept repeating that it would be good for me and that I needed to grow up. The worst part came when my stepdad chimed in. He said, "You've got 2 days to find a place. We need to start the remodeling soon, and we can't have you underfoot while we're trying to get ready for the baby." 2 days? How am I supposed to find a place to live in 2 days? I don't have any savings, I don't know the first thing about renting an apartment, and I don't have anyone I can stay with. All my friends still live at home, too. I spent all of yesterday in a daze. I couldn't focus at work, and I kept making mistakes. My boss noticed and asked if everything was okay. I just mumbled something about family problems and tried to pull myself together. When I got home, I overheard my mom and stepdad talking in the kitchen. My stepdad was saying something about how it was about time I moved out and how I was holding them back. My mom sounded unsure, but he kept talking over her, saying things like, "You've got to cut the cord sometime," and, "He'll thank us for this later." I wanted to burst in there and tell them both off, but I knew it wouldn't do any good. My stepdad has my mom wrapped around his finger, and anything I say will just be twisted and used against me. So now I'm sitting here in my room, trying to figure out what to do. I've got less than 24 hours to come up with a plan, and I'm completely lost. I can't afford an apartment, I don't have any relatives nearby who could take me in, and I'm not even sure how to start looking for a roommate situation. I've thought about trying to reason with my mom one more time, but I'm afraid it'll just make things worse. My stepdad will probably accuse me of trying to manipulate her or something. I've also considered just refusing to leave, but I don't know what would happen then. Could they legally kick me out? Would they call the police? I don't want to cause a huge scene, but I also don't want to end up homeless. Part of me wants to just pack a bag and leave tonight, but I don't even know where I'd go. I could probably crash on a friend's couch for a night or two, but that's not a long-term solution. I feel like my whole world is falling apart. This is the only home I've ever known, and now I'm being pushed out with no warning and no support. I'm angry at my stepdad for orchestrating this, hurt that my mom is going along with it, and scared about what's going to happen to me. I keep thinking about all the things I'm going to miss, the smell of my mom's cooking, the familiar creaks of the floorboards, even the stupid arguments with my stepdad. It might not have been perfect, but it was home. And what about the baby? I was actually looking forward to being a big brother, even if it was going to be weird. Now I might not even get to know my little sister or brother. Will my mom and stepdad just pretend I don't exist? I'm trying to stay calm and think logically, but it's hard. Every time I start to make a plan, my mind goes blank with panic. How am I supposed to juggle school, work, and finding a place to live all at once? And even if I do find somewhere, how will I pay for it? I've spent the last few hours scrolling through rental listings online, but everything is so expensive. Even the cheapest studios are way more than I can afford on my part-time salary, and most places want first and last month's rent plus a security deposit. Where am I supposed to get that kind of money? I've thought about dropping out of school to work full-time, but that feels like giving up on my future. I've worked hard to keep my grades up, and I don't want to throw that away. But I don't see how I can keep going to classes if I don't have a place to live. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. This isn't fair. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm not a bad kid. I don't drink, I don't do substances, I've never been in trouble with the law. I help out around the house, I get decent grades, I have a job. Why am I being punished? I keep replaying conversations with my stepdad in my head, wondering if I could have done something differently. Maybe if I had stood up to him more or if I had tried harder to bond with him, things would be different.